It's a wait that took 16 long years after the cowardly terror attacks that claimed the life of 166 people in India's financial capital, Mumbai. One of the key conspirators of the 26/11 attack is Tahawwur Hussain Rana. He has now been extradited successfully from the United States of America to India. The 26/11 plotter, accompanied by a team of NSG and NIA officials, landed in Delhi's Palam Airport last evening and was formally placed under arrest by the National Investigation Agency, the premium anti-terror agency of India. Now, the arrest that has been made on charges of criminal conspiracy to wage war against the nation, murder, cheating and forgery of documents. After getting 18-day custody from the court, the NIA has confirmed the successful extradition in an official press release, saying that it came about after years of sustained and concerted efforts. Right from Palam Airport, Rana was taken to the Patiala House Court amid a tight security, where he was produced before the NIA special judge. Now let's take a look exactly what has been when it comes to the arguments that were kept forth by the NIA as far as citing compelling evidence, including emails sent by Tahawwur Rana that the NIA sought for his maximum custody. The NIA telling the court that custodial interrogation is required to uncover the sinister plot and claimed that Tahawwur Rana had a role when it comes to orchestrating the Mumbai terror attacks. The central agency further stated that as part of criminal conspiracy, accused number 1, which is David Coleman Headley, had discussed the entire operation with Tahawwur Rana just before his visit to India. Headley, as per the NIA, sent an email to Rana detailing his belongings and assets and informed Rana about the involvement of others like Ilyas Kashmiri and Abdur Rahman in the plot. However, when it comes to all of the investigation, because now there will be pointed questions with regards to the plotting and the criminal conspiracy behind when it comes to the Mumbai terror attacks, that would be asked by our investigative agencies to Tahawwur Rana. Let's introduce Bhavtosh and Priyank, who are joining us here on the broadcast. And we are also currently joined by Arasan Singh. Also, when it comes to Major General Sanjay Meston is also joining us here on the broadcast. Thank you very much for being with us here on Times Now. But another angle that now we are breaking, because the inside scoop that is now coming in on what happens from here on. With regards to Tahawwur Rana, he will now be grilled in an investigation cell that has now been set up on the 3rd floor of the NIA headquarters. Only 12 investigation-related officers will now have access to this investigation cell. That includes the NIA DG, IG Ashish Batra, and also DIG Jaya Roy. As far as when it comes to the officials are also concerned, were the ones who accompanied Tahawwur Rana from US to India. We have Bhavtosh with us first up. Bhavtosh, on the line, as far as when it comes to the first day of the custody of Tahawwur Rana that begins today, what happens from here on?
Well, in fact, the hearing itself went very late. It all got over at around 2 in the morning. NIA, in fact, in the hearing that was in camera, explained the case in very detail. Now, what sources have told us is that NIA told the court, specifically told the court about the email trail. The email trail, in fact, has been unearthed by the FBI, which was, in fact, probing this case. And the email trail in fact, established the relationship between David Headley Coleman and Tahawwur Rana. They further, in fact, explained the court about the relationship that Tahawwur Rana had with David Headley Coleman, and also about the fact that David Headley Coleman had told Tahawwur Rana about Ilyas Kashmiri and also Lashkar-e-Taiba commander Abdur Rahman. Now, this was, in fact, explained to the court, and one important thing, Amitabh, was also told to the court that David Headley Coleman as well as Tahawwur Rana were aware of 26/11 and also about the carnage that would happen. There are many in India and also abroad who believe that Tahawwur Rana did not play an important role as far as 26/11. And for the first time, the NIA told the court that Tahawwur Rana played as important role as any other in this case, whether it is Hafiz Saeed or Zakir Rahman Lakwi. The hearing went on for nearly 2 hours, and then the court reserved the order, and finally at around 2:10, 2:20 in the morning, the court gave its order remanding him for 18 days.
All right, so the interrogation of Tahawwur Rana holds the key as it is likely to shed more light on the entire 26/11 conspiracy and to uncover the role of the terror hub Pakistan. Times Now, meanwhile, has also accessed Tahawwur Rana's 2009 interrogation tapes in which the US authorities were seen questioning him regarding David Coleman Headley and his association with the LET or the Lashkar-e-Taiba and Pakistan ISI. Rana telling the interrogators that Pakistan ISI provided Headley with weapons. However, he also goes on to say that I am not guilty.
Has he discussed other training that he received with Lashkar?
He would mention that sittings with them, talking emotionally about Kashmir and other things.
We know that David has spent time with Lashkar, Jamaat
Yes.
for at least a couple of years, maybe as many as 5 or 6 years.
According to him,
Right.
he is affiliated with them.
Right. And we'll just say, we understand he told you that.
He said.
Right. And you're estimating at least 5 or 6 years.
At least having a contact with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's received some training with them, physical training that we know of.
He mentioned that he was running around and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever talk about guns or weapons when he talked about that?
No guns.
No?
But obviously, it's a freedom fight in Kashmir. I think he said ISI gives them the guns. I cannot say he is mad. That means he's, member of that or something.
Right.
But I do remember his affiliations with ISI and Lashkar or Jamaat-ul-Dawa. Probably Lashkar doesn't know that he is with ISI.
Okay. And
Probably. He wanted ISI to help me get back to Pakistan.
David wanted ISI to help you get back to Pakistan.
Right, so that if they give me a forgiveness, if I go back, they will have a court of inquiry and all that.
Okay.
If I plead guilty that I made a mistake, they will dismiss that and then they might say, okay, we are out of here and we are fine. So I am not guilty.
Now, given the fact that Tahawwur Rana will now be facing a barrage of questions from the NIA related to the terror attack starting today, Times Now, meanwhile, has accessed the line of questioning that he would be facing. The NIA, which is now expected to ask him crucial questions during multiple rounds of interrogation, and sources suggest that the NIA has prepared a long list of questionnaire that Tahawwur Rana will now have to answer. Let's get in a word from Priyank now. Priyank, several rounds of questioning because here there would be pointed questions that would be asked because when it comes to the attack that happened on Indian soil and that now Tahawwur Rana is now in India being investigated and questioned by Indian officials. Can you tell us about multiple rounds of questioning that would be taking place in his 18-day custody?
Yes, Amitabh, the National Investigating Agency team will start the questioning of Tahawwur Hussain Rana. I would expect this will start by 10 a.m. because they took a long flight and certainly by 3:30 was the time when he actually reached at the NIA headquarters. There will be a series of questions which will be asked him, and what we are getting to know that the first round of questioning will be regarding Rana's role in the 26/11 attack after his brief introduction. This will be primarily related to the gathering information and how the attack happened. But the second round of questioning will be related to links with Lashkar-e-Taiba, like how he came in contact with Lashkar-e-Taiba, whether he knew Hafiz Saeed, how did Lashkar-e-Taiba help him, and what did he get in return. Apart from this, Hafiz Saeed and how many people from the LET were operating again with him, and what was the role of Pakistan Army and the ISI in this kind of target. The third round of questioning could be related to the questions related to his link with ISI, I beg your pardon, which is very important because who among these intel officers were from the Pakistan Army, and we know that he was a deserted officer from the Pakistan Army. So did the Pakistan Army introduce him, or the Headley was the one who came in contact with this? What was the plan of the ISI? Because over the period of last many years, what we have seen, the ISI has been deliberately trying to pump in revenue terrorists from the Pakistan soil. So multiple things need to be taken into consideration. In an interesting turn of event yesterday, the National Investigating Agency produced him before the in-camera proceeding. And Amita, they have also managed to get an order that nothing related to the case, like what was the hearing, how it happened, what was the argument also. These kind of things have been kept protected by the NIA. In fact, when the lawyer came out and he started giving the brief detail regarding the health of Tahawwur
Well, as far
Rana,
as the judicial system here in India is concerned, there is legal representation that has been given to both sides as far as the appointment of the SPP that is also being done here. But Mr. Arasan Singh, sir, what happens from here on in your belief? Because Pakistan seems to have already shrugged off when it comes to saying that Tahawwur Rana is actually a Canadian citizen and they don't have anything to do with him. What happens from here on as far as you believe that the role that he may have played when it comes to nailing the role of Pakistan?
No, what do you expect from Pakistan? I mean, you can't expect otherwise. You mean to say they are going to acknowledge? Not on this earth at least. But if I may tell you something that, don't underestimate the CIA and ISI, partnership. And to that extent that we have been able to get him, it's a massive achievement. It's a massive achievement because had not Trump dismantled the deep state, I mean, this would not have been possible. So full marks to our Indian establishment and full marks to the National Security Advisor, Mr. Ajit Doval, that we have been able to get him. Now his interrogation, as far as interrogation is concerned, he is not a criminal who is to be pinned down to, to know his role, his criminality. No. What the interrogation will aim at is this getting the wider conspiracy part, out of him. And he is the man who was, handling right from the, American soil, right, till it was executed. So he knows those entire links, those links flowing from, from the western soil, coming into Pakistan and then in India. And as I told on your program yesterday also, there are two aspects to it. That Indian officials, the key officials, were in Pakistan that time when this attack was taking place, and key Pakistani officials were in India when this attack was taking place. The entire war room of India, that is, headed by the Home Secretary, was there, with his 9-member delegation. One of them, Rajinder Kumar, he came back. So they were in Mari, 60 kilometers northeast of Islamabad when this attack was taking place. And here Shah Mohammad Qureshi was here. And even after the attack took place, the very next day he was addressing the Women Press Corps. So this shows that they were very confident that what they wanted to achieve, in terms of Hindu terror, that has been, achieved till Ajmal Kasab was caught. So a lot of things, can be elicited, should be elicited out of Tahawwur Rana. And let me tell you, in the history of the world, I rate it as one of the biggest conspiracies. One of the biggest conspiracies, it was a typical case of, political terrorism. Where, for purposes of politics, this kind of terror was, staged on, on India. And let me tell you one thing. What was the geopolitical situation then? The Americans were there in Afghanistan. You mean to say the Pakistan would have, dared to carry out this kind of an operation without the assurance that there will be no retaliation? They must have catered for that. They must have been assured by people here in India that there will be no retaliation. Because it was a typical case of, people here colluding with the enemy country for their own advantages. If you have any other views, please explain to me.
But let me get that point to Major General Sanjay Meston also, sir, because we want to get other point of views as well. Now, sir, the time has changed, the geopolitical situation has changed, the governments has changed, both in the United States and also in India. And here are some who are now also questioning the timing, that why did it take 16 long years when it comes to the extradition process? Had there been a strike earlier, when the two countries were brought clearly to the brink of the war, Tahawwur Rana would have been history today.
Avita, good morning. You have raised very pertinent issues. See, the fact of the matter is, as highlighted earlier, see, the United States were operating in Afghanistan, and that was one of the biggest constraints because operationally, logistics-wise, they were totally dependent on Pakistan. There is no denial of the fact. And therefore, after this 26/11, India had the option of doing certain strikes, etc. But probably there was, we did nothing really. Actually, that's a major issue which comes about on this aspect. We really did nothing, though we could have done so many things, because that was the most appropriate time to do it. But I think there was some kind of a US pressure because their logistics to Afghanistan was dependent, and probably there was some understanding, and I really can't comment on that political aspect at that time. What were the issues? But the fact of the matter is, now today we have this person who is the, I would say, very, very important key personality. We have got him. We must keep in mind he's a very radicalized person. And therefore, NIA, when they were doing the investigation, I think this man over the past 16, 17 years, he would have framed up his mind. He's a shatir. Matlab shatir dimag wala hai ye. He would have framed up his mind as to how he will deflect, deviate, and deny. So it's not going to be an easy interrogation with the NIA. And despite we confronting him with a lot of evidences, emails, you know, communication records, mobile records, so many things, setting up his office in Mumbai, that immigration office, along with David Headley. So there are a large number of things, and unfortunately, what will happen is that there is no other person to corroborate thereafter. So we may have to be, in fact, doing a lot of more things. Perhaps whatever he states, we'll have to again go back to United States, seek interrogation of David Headley, and try to seek his extradition also, because those are important aspects. Since you asked the question, the realities have changed. Yes, the establishment in United States has changed. In India, it has been there now since last 13 odd years. And of course, this is a very, very important factor. The geopolitical situation has changed. Yes. And the way President Trump has called Prime Minister Modi his trusted friend, and even in the tariffs, he had put 26% tariffs, but I think by autumn some things will change. And you see,
whatever role he has to play as far as Tahawwur Rana is concerned, we know for a fact, as far as overwhelming evidence is concerned, that the bigger fish are still there in Pakistan. However, you know, Pakistan may try to deny. It has been denying over the last 16 years. We have seen multiple dossiers to the terror state. But let's talk about when it comes to the two countries coming together, which is the United States and India. Coming at a time here where the US State Department has also issued a statement on Tahawwur Rana's extradition. We would want to point out and play out the statement that is now coming from the United States, saying that America has consistently supported India's efforts to hold those responsible for the attacks accountable. Let's listen.
On April 9th, the United States extradited Tahawwur Hussain Rana to India to face justice for his role in planning the horrific 2008 Mumbai terrorist attacks. These attacks resulted in the tragic loss of 166 lives, including 6 Americans, that shocked the entire world. The United States has long supported India's efforts to ensure those responsible for these attacks are brought to justice. And as President Trump has said, the United States and India will continue to work together to combat the global scourge of terrorism. So it is, he is in their possession, and we are very proud of that dynamic.
Now, in the meantime, as far as the US State Department is concerned, in fact, it has also responded 2 times now's question on Tahawwur Rana's extradition. And when it comes to the US State Department, it has gone on to say that extradition is the key to ensuring justice. That when it comes to combating terrorism, India and the United States will be working together. And when it comes to these developments that has now come in, this is a direct response. 2 times now that the US State Department has responded and confirming that the United States on the 9th of April extradited convicted terrorist Tahawwur Hussain Rana, Canadian citizen and a native of Pakistan, to stand trial in India on 10 criminal charges stemming from his alleged role in the 2008 terrorist attacks in Mumbai. Rana's extradition is a critical step towards seeking justice for the 6 Americans and scores of other victims who were killed in the heinous attacks. That's important there, Rishabh, as far as the 2 countries coming together. And of course, when we have seen the diplomatic push and the direct push that came in when the 2 leaders of the country met earlier this year, calling Rana as a very evil man, and this extradition process was expedited under the current regime of the United States. Rishabh.
Well, if we talk about the response that has come in from Department of Justice in United States, it says that yes, US has extradited Tahawwur Rana to India and to face the trial in the Indian courts on 10 counts. This is what the Justice Department has confirmed 2 times now. And remember, when we are talking about 26/11, there were 6 American nationals as well who lost their life in that horrific terror attack in 2008. Now, just Tahawwur Rana is here. Remember, NIA in its official statement has also thanked Department of Justice for all the assistance that it has provided to Indian agencies as well. So a coordinated effort in which Tahawwur Rana has been brought back to India and now is in NIA custody. It will unfold a lot of things that as of now is not known into the investigation, and that will further connect the dots to ensure a watertight case against all the accused. This will not only legally support India to try Tahawwur Rana, but will also help India diplomatically to have a better dossier against the accused, the terrorists who are in Pakistan. And also the spotlight will be back on the terror sponsoring, terror funding, terror abetting by Pakistan, which the country has been denying for decades.
Absolutely, and it continues to do so, even with regards to the extradition, shrugging off, saying that he is not a Pakistan citizen. He's not renewed his citizenship for the last over 2 decades now. However, continuing to shrug responsibility there, that is something that is not new, coming from terror state Pakistan. But in the meantime, that has been the response that is now coming from the US State Department to India 2 times now, rather, when they spoke on the extradition of Tahawwur Rana. RSN Singh sir, Sanjay Meston sir, request you to be with us. We head into a very short break. We continue with the story on the other side as well.